Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right.
Ready? Great. So, what are we doing now?
So we are making kefir smoothies.
Kefir smoothies.
And this smoothie is really good for your gut.
Okay.
It contains some fiber, it can contain complex carbohydrates, which will keep you full as well. And it's a really, really easy recipe.
Okay.
And we're going to just pop it into this smoothie blender,
Right.
blend it up,
Yes.
and we'll be good to go.
Fantastic. Okay, so what have we got on the table? What are we looking at now?
Yeah,
We've got the
so
oats.
we have oats. Now, oats is a complex carbohydrate.
Okay.
We have different types of carbohydrates.
Right.
We have refined carbohydrates, and that sort of carbohydrate will basically give you blood sugar spikes. So it will give you energy for a short period of time, but then your energy levels will go down.
Okay.
Whereas complex carbohydrates, things like oats, grains, things like that, will basically give you energy for a longer period of time.
So more sustainable for right and fast.
Right,
Okay,
exactly,
that makes sense. Is there any
exactly.
particular oats? Because I know from shopping, you've got the rolled oats, you've got the basic kind of oats. Are we looking at anything, or just we can go with
Anything at all. There is some oats that sort of have golden syrup in them, etc.
Yes.
You don't want to go for anything like that.
Okay, it's just plain oats.
Plain oats,
Yeah.
but anything that you want, because it obviously is going to get blended in.
True.
So yeah, that's that. Then we're going to put in some strawberries.
Yeah, they look really good. These
So
strawberries.
we're going to put in 80 grams of strawberries.
80 grams.
Yeah,
Okay.
so 80 grams of a fruit or vegetable will count towards your 5 a day. So we're going to put
Fantastic.
80 grams of strawberries in. Great for vitamins, minerals, antioxidants.
Yeah.
Gives you your fiber as well, which is brilliant.
Bit of
and it
sweetness.
gives you gives you sweetness to the smoothies.
Any particular strawberries? Because there's a big push for organic, maybe farm picked strawberries. Does it really matter? Or, because obviously people are on budgets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So should we be looking for something a bit more quality over quantity?
So in terms of organic, there's a lot of mixture in terms of evidence at the moment.
Yeah.
But in terms of the evidence from a nutrition standpoint, organic is not better.
Okay.
It contains the same amount of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. In terms of just going for sort of standard bought strawberries,
Yes.
if you can just wash it before you use it,
Okay.
and that removes the pesticides from fruits and vegetables.
Brilliant.
Because obviously with the cost of living going up right now, we just need to be mindful of that. And from a nutrition standpoint, there's not a lot of difference.
Okay, great. Okay, sister,
Yeah.
these are really interesting to me. I mean, this is like, I don't know, it looks like pepper. I would almost say it's pepper.
Yeah.
Tell us what this is and why we should have something like this.
Yeah, so chia seeds is basically a type of a seed. You can pop it into your smoothies, you can put it into your cereal as well. It's a great source of calcium, great source of protein, phosphorus as well.
Okay.
And all of that will basically, and fiber as well. And all of that will basically help with your gut health, helps with bone health as well.
Okay.
Now, one thing that I'd like to say
Yes.
is a lot of people think of chia seeds and a lot of other, foods as superfoods.
Yes, I've heard this phrase.
Yeah.
Superfoods,
Yeah.
really good for the gut, etc.,
Yes,
etc.
exactly. But there's no such thing as superfoods.
Ah.
Okay. Every single food has a place in its diet, the diet, but we just have to be mindful of not just isolating certain foods of having so much more benefit than others.
Okay.
So for example, chia seeds, like I said, it's a great source of calcium, protein, fiber.
Yep.
Flax seeds and sesame seeds, which
Yes.
is a cheaper alternative, still have those same nutritional benefits.
I've heard something about these chia seeds, and correct me if I'm wrong. You take some and you soak them in water overnight, and they're supposed to plump up.
Yeah.
What's the benefits of us doing something like that with chia seeds?
Yeah.
What would that do for our
So
stomachs, our health?
especially people with IBS or IBD, etc., with bloating issues,
Okay.
and gas-related issues, that will definitely help.
Okay.
Because obviously chia seeds is quite high in fiber, you just have to be mindful of that.
Okay.
It's also said that chia seeds, for example, if you have high blood pressure or diabetes, it can
Okay.
interact with your medications.
Ah.
So again, you're speaking to your GP or your dietitian will
Okay.
definitely support with that. But what I'm trying to say is like chia seeds is not a superfood. I'm using it as part of the smoothie because I like the taste of it. But you can get cheaper alternatives like flax seeds and, you know,
sesame seeds as well.
yeah,
You mentioned.
exactly. And they will still give you the nutritional benefit. As part of a balanced diet, absolutely, you can go for it. But there's no super foods out there. It's all of it. It's a marketing
It's just a marketing blend.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the oats. We've got our 80 grams of strawberries, and they look delicious. And our chia seeds.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I think I know what this is.
Yeah.
Honey.
Honey.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it looks like a reasonable amount we have here.
Yeah. So we're not going to put all of that in. We're probably going to put in a teaspoon of honey because we're also going to get the sweetness from the strawberries.
Of course.
The reason why I'm putting honey in is just for that sweetness. From a nutrition standpoint, so we have different types of sugars, right? We have added sugars and we have natural sugars.
Yes.
Now, added sugars is basically table sugar, you know, syrups, honey, fruit juice. They all come under the added sugar or free sugar category.
Okay.
That sort of sugar, if we're not careful of how much we're consuming, can lead to blood sugar levels going up and down and up and down.
So this is the spike that you were talking about during your fast. If you put too much of this stuff in, and obviously we've got the sugar that's coming from the natural fruit, we're going to spike too much throughout the day.
So with the natural fruit, this comes under the natural sugars.
Okay.
As long as it's not blended, it won't affect our blood sugar levels in the same way that fruit juice do or table sugar or honey does. So this is fantastic. Now we are blending this today.
You mentioned that. What's the difference if I just ate a strawberry now to if obviously we're going to blend it? What happens in that process?
Yeah, so when we're blending it, we are removing the fiber, a lot of the fiber.
Okay.
However, we still have vitamins and minerals in there and antioxidants that are good for us. But 150 ml of a smoothie with fruits will count towards your 5 a day and vegetables as well.
That's brilliant.
However, anything above that, we just have to be mindful of how much we're consuming. So absolutely, it's part of a balanced diet. And this is why I'm making a smoothie today to say that we can still enjoy it, so you can get benefits from it, but it's just being mindful of how much we're consuming.
Fantastic.
Also with strawberries and just blending fruit, like I said, we're removing the fiber.
Yes.
So we just have to be careful about that.
So I would guess we're removing the fiber. We've got the chia seeds, which is putting the fiber back into it as well. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So with the oats, the strawberries, the chia seeds, and the honey now, I'm feeling excited about this. It's going to be tasty. So our final ingredient, would this be? So to me, this just looks like a yogurt, kind of, something I would find on the shelf. What makes this so specific? What makes this good for us?
Yeah, so this is kefir, and kefir is a fermented food. Now, what it contains is live microorganisms that help support our gut.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay, so when we're talking a little bit about our gut, now we have something called a gut microbiome. And this is basically an ecosystem where there's trillions of microorganisms that live in our gut. Okay. So they can either, help support health or they can trigger illness. Okay. If, for example, we focus on the good bugs and feed it things like fermented foods like kefir, like thinking about, fiber and thinking about fruits and vegetables, it will enhance the ability to support us better.
Fantastic.
And our gut is related, it has a connection to our brain. It has a connection to our heart health, our mood, our skin, our metabolism. So looking after our powerhouse, essentially, which is our gut.
Powerhouse.
Yeah.
I like that phrase.
Exactly. Will basically help support so many different functions.
Brilliant.
And the smoothie, with the combination of all the different food groups combined, will give you that sustained amount of energy for longer. One thing I forgot to add as well, so if you're making a smoothie, if you're going to base it just on fruits, as I said, when we're blending fruit, you're releasing out the sugars, they become free sugars.
Yes.
So you need to be mindful that you're only having 150 ml.
Okay.
But to counteract that, if you add in other different foods and make it a balanced smoothie, you're going to bring down those blood sugar levels when you're not leading to those peaks and troughs. So therefore you get your fiber in, you're getting your complex carbohydrates in, you're getting, you're getting the kefir, the yogurt in, which contains a bit of protein. It has, it has those microorganisms that are great for the health, for your gut, sorry.
It's a bit of calcium as well.
Yes, yogurt, and calcium, yeah, exactly. So combining different food groups together will allow you to sustain your blood sugar levels for longer.
Can I just ask, I'm guessing this is just plain in flavour, there's nothing added to it at all, no flavourings or anything?
No, nothing at all.
Great.
And the mixture of everything together will really bring out those flavours.
Fantastic.
One last thing as well, sorry.
That's okay.
The honey. Now, in terms of the Islamic point of view, there is some benefits to honey.
Yes.
However, again, like I said, we need to be mindful of it. We don't need this really in our smoothies, but if we're using little bits of it, if we're being mindful of how much we're consuming, then that's absolutely okay. It's just being careful of how much we're eating.
So overarchingly, everything has been about mindful about what you're putting into your powerhouse.
Yeah.
We'll use your term, powerhouse.
Yeah.
Which is feeding our gut, which feeds our concentration, helps us to sustain that kind of level throughout the day so we don't feel that pains of hunger. And then ultimately that concentration in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
You've got something there behind the oats, and I don't want to miss this out because it's a
milk.
big old jug there.
Yes.
Fantastic. So we've got milk, just plain milk?
Just plain milk.
Yeah,
so I use semi-skim milk.
Yeah.
If, for example, you have an intolerance to cow's milk, then you can swap this out for any other alternative plant-based milk.
Oats milk,
oat milk, soya
coconut
milk,
or anything like that?
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, in terms of if you're using alternative based milks, making sure that it is fortified with calcium and B12, because usually they're not actually fortified.
Okay.
Other than soya milk, you need to make sure that the fortification is there. But absolutely, you can use all sorts of milk. Fantastic.
Again, going for an alternative, we should go for the unsweetened option. Because I know you can get a sweetened option for like coconut milk, oat milk.
Yeah. The unsweetened version will obviously be better.
Yeah.
For me, I go for semi-skimmed. I don't go for skimmed. But full fat is not something that we want to go for the average person.
Great. Okay, so just to recap, we have our oats, which is the heart of this smoothie. This is the one that's going to give us that sustenance throughout the whole day. Then move on to our strawberries. Beautiful strawberries, cut already, prepared and washed. So really important to wash them, as Sister said, to get rid of the pesticides. Make sure that they're nice and healthy and clean. And then our non-superfood, because they're not superfoods, we have our chia seeds. And again, we're going to add this to the smoothie. This is something that's going to bring fiber into the smoothie and give a little bit of lasting energy. Honey. Well, we all know Islamically, honey is really good for us, but we've got to be mindful about how much we're using. This is our sugar that we're adding in to our smoothie. So some nice running honey there. And then I'm going to get you to say this because I might say it wrong.
Kefir.
Kefir. So this is a yogurt, a plain yogurt, very good, full of microorganisms. Yeah, good for the gut. Very good for the gut. And then, if you don't mind, just showing the milk. So we're using a semi-skim milk here. Green top, you can use an alternative, an oat, or if you're lactose intolerant, use one of those milks. Try your best if you can to have one of the unsweetened ones as well. Okay, are you ready to put this together?
Absolutely, let's go for it.
Fantastic. Okay, so lid off. We've got our blender here, so we're just going to take the lid off the blender.
Yeah.
The cup. We're looking for about 150 mils.
So we're putting 80 mil.
80 mils
of milk.
Of milk, okay, brilliant.
So this is a little bit more than 80 mil. I'm just going to drop in a little bit more.
Lovely. Great. So that's the first part.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's looking good. You need a spoon?
Yes, please.
I've got my collection here. Which particular spoon would you like?
The one to the far left.
The one to the far left. There we go.
Brilliant.
Lovely. So these are just normal oats. They're going in.
Yeah.
They look good actually. Nice and dry. Okay.
So this serves one person.
One person.
Yeah. And this is 2 tablespoons of oats going in.
Yep. Fantastic. Now, do we need these oats just to sit in and absorb the liquid for a while? I know these overnight oats kind of thing, or is it just...
Not necessarily, because we're blending it up.
Okay.
Then it's absolutely fine.
Right. Onto the pièce de résistance.
So around 80 grams of strawberries.
Lovely.
Go in as well. Pop those in.
Pop those in. So you know what 80 grams feels
Yeah.
like, yeah?
So it's usually around a hand size
Handful,
amount.
okay.
Yeah.
So your hands are different to my hands.
Right.
How would I know what 80?
Exactly. Well, 80. So usually you can weigh it out, or you can just use your hand measurement.
hand
Yeah.
measurement, okay.
Because that would be suitable for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that portion of fruit should
Yes.
really be the hand.
But approximately 80 grams will be give or take the same amount.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay, this is our non-superfood. It's not a superfood, but this is adding our fibre in. I'm interested to see how much you're adding there.
So I'm putting in this is a tablespoon, but I'm putting in half a teaspoon.
Half a teaspoon there,
Yeah.
okay.
You can put a little bit more if you want. It just depends on what your preference is.
Interestingly, that's just floating. That's just floating in the mixture and not really absorbing. It's like floating on top of the mixture.
Yeah. Once it blends through together, it'll taste delicious.
Okay, great.
And then I put in a teaspoon of honey.
Okay. So this is the one we need to be very mindful of.
Yeah.
All right, so
Put that in.
nice runny honey, lovely.
Just don't need that much of it, because you'll get the sweetness from the strawberries as well.
Another spoon?
Yes, please. And
One
then
particular one?
the left one, please.
The left one, there we go.
And then we put in 2 tablespoons of kefir yogurt.
So this is our natural kefir yogurt, nothing added to it. It actually looks delicious right now. Fantastic. Okay, so lid goes on.
Yeah.
Nice and tight.
Nice and tight. And then we move over to the
Do we need
blender.
to do a little shaky shake of it or anything like that?
We could do.
Yeah.
There we go.
Fantastic. A bit of exercise for your Ramadan as well. Give it a shake around as well. Get moving.
Yeah.
Okay, over to our blender.
It just goes into the blender.
Lovely. One final shake, I can see.
There
So
we
it's
are.
all sticking to the top and kind of doing
Yeah.
all sorts. Right, this is where the magic happens. Okay, guys, here we go.
This is how it blends.
Quite noisy.
So my preference is to blend it for around 60 seconds.
Okay.
So everything is fully blended in together.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Can you blend it less time?
Yeah,
If
you
you
can.
want it a bit more
Chunkier.
chunkier?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
great.
Depending on your preference. And then you're ready
Oh,
to serve this. You can
this is where the
serve
magic
it-
happens.
You can serve it with some ice as well.
Can I just...
You can smell it.
Oh, that smells delicious. You can smell the strawberries in
Yeah.
there. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, it smells amazing.
Very fresh. Okay.
So, are you going to taste test this?
Oh, I'd love to.
So remember I said that we need to have 150 ml maximum.
Okay.
So this is just a little bit, from what I can sort of eyeball, just a little bit more than 150 ml.
Okay.
But you will have a remainder if you want to have it for another time.
Sure. Great. So when should we be consuming something like this? Would this be for our iftar or maybe our suhoor?
Yeah, absolutely. So for suhoor would be perfect,
Okay.
because remember I said that it has a combination of everything, give you that sustained amount of energy for longer.
Brilliant.
And it's very convenient. It's a grab and go really. It takes less than 10 minutes to put
Sure.
together. And it'll be great as part of a suhoor meal. We have to be mindful of how much smoothies we're consuming from a dental point as well.
Sure.
But yeah, now and again, absolutely, this is a fantastic smoothie to have.
This is something you can make in advance, keep in the fridge?
Yeah. I think probably a day or two, otherwise it'll probably start to get a little bit clunky.
Okay.
But yeah, a day would be absolutely okay to keep.
Fantastic. So it's it feels very nutritious and healthy. May I?
Yeah, go for it.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you so much. Oh, that is delightful.
Yeah.
Really, really good. You can taste the sharpness of the fruit, like in the sides of the tongue, but it's almost got a very hearty kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
It's like a meal in itself. You can feel the oats. Interestingly, I can't taste any of the chia seeds at all. I thought there would be a crunch to it, but there isn't. And the honey is non-existent.
Yeah.
I must say, I can't taste any of the sweetness of that honey at all.
Yeah.
It makes you salivate. It's very, very nice, honestly.
I'm glad.
So something like this could be had for the suhoor in the morning. And then what would you kind of have alongside this, what would you say would be a kind of, because we're looking at balance now, we're looking at sustainability.
Yeah.
We've got the oats and we've got the fruits and everything, so this is very balanced. What could we consume with it?
So you can have, for example, a portion of eggs, let's say, with some wholemeal bread, and you can have that alongside your sahur. Remember, when you're thinking about all your different food groups, trying to hit your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fruits and vegetables as well alongside that. So, like I said, eggs on toast. You can make scrambled eggs, poached eggs, fried eggs sometimes. Be mindful of how much of fried eggs you're consuming, because obviously of the oil content, we do need a little bit of fat in our diet, but not so much. A good cereal would be great, and we can put some chia seeds on top, or you can put some strawberries on top as well, and then you can serve that alongside the smoothie. Brilliant. So just thinking about your food groups really, and just coming back to that.
You mentioned oil. I know this is quite a big thing. What kind of oils we should be using? Sunflower oil, olive oil. There's so many different oils out there on the market.
Yeah. So unsaturated fats is a sort of fats that will support your health. Okay. So support your heart health, your brain health. It will help us keep healthy essentially. And unsaturated fat is things like olive oil, rapeseed oil, sunflower oil. Olive oil, we shouldn't be cooking at high heats. Okay. So it's the best to serve it on dressings, etc. Your sunflower oil, rapeseed oil are great oils to cook with. Wow. Often we tend to think coconut oil, ghee is good for us, but actually they are very high in saturated fat. Right. And I also cook with them, but very mindful of how often I cook with them. So it's on a more of an occasional basis. Yeah. We just have to be mindful of, on a day-to-day basis, cooking with unsaturated fats instead, because the saturated fats will essentially clog up our arteries eventually, and it could lead to heart disease, and so many other complications after that point too. Amazing,
thank you so much. So we're looking overarchingly, when we're consuming our suhoor, we're looking at a very balanced meal. We should look at all our food groups, and this amazing smoothie is capturing a lot of the food groups. I guess we can add some protein to it as well, and our carbohydrates. Yep. And this will give us consistency throughout the day, and hopefully just
give you the energy boost as well. You need. Absolutely.
And that energy leads to concentration and focus when you are supplicating to Allah. You're reading your du'as and you're trying to find that spiritual connection. Something like this. Yeah. Dear viewers, is the ideal thing.
Yeah, and even after iftar, for example, between iftar and sahur, as a post-iftar, drink, it would be absolutely as well. Yeah, and it's sweet and it tastes nice. Yeah. Rather than going for too much of the sugary foods.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, sister. I'm going to have some more. Something perfect to start your fast off with, give you sustenance throughout the whole day, inshallah. One final taste. It's really good, really wholesome. Inshallah, I highly recommend this. Join us for more exciting recipes, tips and tricks and advice on your nutrition through the blessed month of Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. We'll see you again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.